Hello, welcome to 70 Years, 70 Muppets, a Muppet fan podcast presented by ToughPigs.com. This is the podcast where we celebrate the Muppets' 70th anniversary with 70 straight weeks of spotlights on our favorite Muppet characters, from the most popular to the most obscure. I am this week's host, Becca Petunia, and the Muppet of the Week is Hilda.
Yay!
Ooh.
Hilda, performed originally by Erin Oscar, and making her debut in 1976, 49 years ago. I love Hilda, and I am so glad I get to talk about Hilda, because one of my favorite things are the sort of rough, weird-looking puppets from the early days of The Muppet Show. I'm talking folks like Droop and Mildred, and you know what? If I'm going to talk folks like Hilda, there's only one podcast that I could go to find guests for this episode.
You
That
rang?
Yes, that's right. From the Muppeturgy podcast, I'm so happy to have with me Michal Richardson and Christie Baugher. Thanks so much for joining me.
Sure. Thanks for
Woo!
having us to talk about one of our all-time faves.
Droop, droop.
Well, we're not talking about Droop. It's not Droop week, but it is Hilda week. And
Justice for Droop.
We live every week like it's Troop Week, okay?
That's true.
well, you know what's so interesting to me? I was thinking about this, and Hilda is such a central part of season one. We'll talk about that, and we all watched some episodes that sort of focus on Hilda, so we could talk about what we like about her and what we miss about Hilda. But Hilda is really like a core Muppet. I double checked, and in season one, there is only one season one episode that Hilda is not in. And folks at home, that's your homework. I mean, you can figure it out pretty easily on Muppet Wiki, but your job is to figure out which episode of season one Hilda is not in. She's only not in one episode. And in so many episodes, she's prominently featured in backstage plots, or what passes for backstage plots in season one. In the Twiggy episode, it really does feel like the core four Muppets are Kermit, Fozzie, Gonzo, and Hilda.
Heck yeah.
And then season one ends, and Erin Oscar leaves the Muppets. And Hilda appears two more times in the background of The Muppet Show with no lines, does not appear in the Rainbow Connection finale, does appear in The Muppets Take Manhattan at the wedding, does appear at The Muppets A Celebration of 30 Years, and has not been used since. And that's not really true of any of the other major characters from The Muppet Show. Mildred is in Muppets Most Wanted. The Mutations are in Muppets Most Wanted. George the janitor shows up from time to time. But Hilda's gone, and folks, I miss her. And I'm curious, why do you guys miss Hilda?
It's funny. I like y'all, I went back and rewatched some of the Hilda's Greatest Hits episodes. And the thing that I miss about Hilda is she has such a grounding energy. There's
Hmm.
nothing frantic about her. And don't get me wrong, we come to the Muppets for frantic, but the thing that she brings is such like an earthy sense of balance that's really weirdly refreshing. We're over on Muppeturgy, we're one episode away from having discussed every episode of the Muppet Show. And so we've been so entrenched at the other end of the spectrum where, in season five, the lunatics are running the asylum, like it's very much like I think in some ways uh the wildness is dialed up compared to season one. And I sort of attribute that to Hilda. Even when Hilda's freaking out, Hilda is so competent. Hilda is so on top of it. Hilda's got her little pin cushion and she's ready to handle whatever comes up. And I mean, and that's a wardrobe mistress for you. Like that is, that is a professional backstage theater person for you. And yeah, I miss her competence, I
You know,
think.
I definitely want to hear Michal's take as well. I don't mean to cut you off, Michal, but I want to address, you said a professional backstage person, because you know what's really weird? Beauregard and Beaker are sort of stagehands, sort of sometimes on The Muppet Show.
Mhm.
But once you lose Hilda, there's really no backstage related characters.
There's
You
Gladys in the canteen, but the less said about her, the better.
Well, but also that's not a canteen is not really like stage crew. Like,
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
yes, obviously crafty is important or whatever you want to call it. But like there is no like props master, lighting guy, sound guy. You don't really see much of Nigel the conductor post season one. It's so interesting because it's like, well, who is doing these jobs
Who is running this
backstage?
Yeah.
asylum?
You know, and it, again, and Hilda fit a nice kind of role like that. Again, Beauregard and Beaker are sometimes presented as stagehands, and I know someone at home is going to tell me that. But going back to my original question, Michal, what do you miss about Hilda?
I think there's something about Hilda that is very specific, and in that she is like Aaron Oscar knows exactly who this character is. It must be based on somebody in her life, and Hilda is both very the her characterizations are both very small and very large at the same time. Like some of my favorite things that she does are little gestures or little ways that she squishes her little face, but also these very big gestures that she makes. Like she will just fall over or faint, um, or transform her entire look and personality because she wants to try a new look. But also, she'll have very tiny problems. Like she lost her glasses because they're on top of her head. I don't remember if that's the actual problem. She lost her comb. She lost something that was very small.
I didn't
And
rewatch that episode, so you know what? I lost my memory of what Hilda lost.
I'm sure it'll turn up. It's probably on top of your head.
Or on Muppet Wiki.
That too. Thank goodness for Muppet Wiki. But yeah, Hilda is, like Christie said, there is something very grounded about her, but also she's definitely a character. She is doing something that is specific to the theater, to the Muppet Theater. She clearly lives there and is meant to be there and is one of the Muppets, but she's also her own thing.
Yeah, she's inherently Muppety. But compared to everyone else around her, she's very
I like her little squishy face. I want to watch it every day forever.
She's so cute, and I was looking at. I haven't had the opportunity to see the Hilda that's now on display at the Museum of the Moving Image in Queens, New York. Michal, I know you've seen it, but just looking at her, like there's a great high-res photo on Muppet Wiki. I love all of her accessories. She's so detailed and feels so just like alive. She's got a weird big brooch on her collar. She wears scissors around her neck. She's got a little like tomato pincushion on her wrist.
Yeah.
There's so much going on with Hilda, and I love that. Again, you can't say somebody like Mildred or Nigel that kind of feel a little underdeveloped as a character. That was not Hilda's problem. Like again, like you guys keep saying, Hilda matters, and Hilda, you feel like you know her. And, Hilda's got that thick Eastern European accent, which certainly makes her feel like some relatives of mine. I definitely had, a great aunt who absolutely talked like Hilda, and that's something that I can connect with.
Yeah. Hilda's very fully formed with all of her accent and her characterizations and her accessories. She's just a very particular character from the get-go. And with some of the other Muppets, the way that they are fully formed is more in their personality and in like their catchphrases. Like you know who they are because of how they're performed. And with Hilda, you know who she is for a lot of additional smaller reasons too.
there's definitely a subtlety to her. And again, and that subtlety goes a long way to someone feeling like a person and not just a character device or something. Because this is something that often bothers me about like the Swedish Chef, who I guess now is when I announce is one of my least favorite Muppets. Not as much as Howard Tubman from a couple weeks ago, but um, the Swedish Chef is like he feels more like a device than a person. Like I don't know what the Swedish Chef's like likes and dislikes and fears and goals are, but I feel like I kind of know that about Hilda. It's again, there's something so well-rounded and just real about her. I know we're just saying that over and over again, so does anyone want to talk about any specific Hilda moments that they rewatched and enjoyed?
I really enjoyed uh, revisiting the Phyllis Diller episode from season one, where Hilda decides that she needs a makeover to look younger. I
Which
mean,
is so funny because she's inspired by Phyllis Diller,
yeah.
who is also old.
Well, she's inspired by Phyllis Diller putting in the effort, which is, how they felt about it in the 70s. Like, oh, like, and Kermit makes this comment that, oh, I just want to say it's really great that you're trying to look your best. And for her and for her understanding of Phyllis Diller, that means gotta get a facelift and wear very tight foundation garments, which is I don't know how I feel about that for her, but she's trying her best and it's so cute. Sorry, Christy, go on.
I mean, the struggle is real. I know I've been there.
Yeah,
With foundation garments.
same. Yeah, no, it's on one hand, it's heartbreaking because Hilda is so lovable as she is, and luckily that's where it ends is with Kermit saying, we love you as you are, which is a an unusually kind and straightforward thing for Kermit to say that early in the Muppet Show
Yes,
when he is normally a passive aggressive jerk.
that really caught me off guard because so much of Muppet Show Kermit, especially pre-Muppet movie Muppet Show Kermit, is Kermit just being at the end of his rope and like,
Yeah.
again in the Twiggy episode, Fozzie is like, there's something funny going on back here, and Kermit's like, there better be something funny on stage, Bear. Like, and again, like, but no, he genuinely is like, we love you, Hilda. Again, like, God, is Hilda the first person Kermit says he loves?
Whoa, huge if true.
I mean,
Okay,
and
I
he's
mean,
done
other
anything
than
like
other
talk shows and
than
stuff.
guest stars, I mean the first Muppet that Kermit said he loved. He went courting Miss Mousie,
Oh, that's true. That doesn't.
but I don't remember if he said he loved her.
And
I'm
certainly not
trying.
as himself.
He
Like,
did propose marriage to her, but I don't know if he said anything about love in
That
that
was also,
proposal.
yeah, like, is this the first person he says he loves? I can't picture him saying I love you, Fozzie.
Hmm.
and so funny because in one of these episodes, it was either Twiggy or Phyllis Diller was when Fozzie calls Kermit "Frog of my heart," which I love so
I love
much.
that so much.
I feel like does Grover also sometimes call Kermit Frog of my heart? It feels like that's no, I
Feels
guess
like a thing
not.
Grover would say, but I know Fozzie's done it in multiple episodes,
Yeah,
multiple
maybe
times.
that's
So
what I'm thinking
Yeah.
of. I mean, this is not a Grover podcast. I'm not,
maybe next year.
hmm. What for Sesame Street's like
56,
57th?
yeah.
Anyway,
56 Sesame Muppets in 57 days.
so yeah, but it's interesting. And again, there definitely is this thing, I'm thinking of the Twiggy episode when she's worried about, the Phantom. The Phyllis Diller episode is probably the one she's most central to, where she wants the makeover. But we see other little things throughout, her introducing Vincent Price because she's also from Transylvania. Um, you know, Gonzo going to her to fix his teddy bear. It's amazing how many plots Hilda is in, but only for 1 year.
Yeah, I think the thing that's lost with Hilda, now that I really think about it, is a maternal energy because that's definitely not Piggy's vibe.
Yeah. I mean, and were there, I mean, I know that other female performers came on to the show after Aronofsky left, but her absence was definitely very keenly felt in seasons 2 and 3.
Well, you know
Because,
what's
like, we
in
missed Wanda, we missed Hilda.
you know what's interesting is like, okay, so Louise Gold joins the show, and Louise Gold is wonderful. But like I said, in season one here, Hilda is like a core part of the gang. And we can talk about Annie Sue and some of the fun Annie Sue moments we remember, but Annie Sue was never positioned. No one could argue she was a core part of the gang.
Yeah.
But, again, and I wonder if part of that too is like not to get too Prairie Dawn Companion up in here, but too much of that was like in season one, Piggy wasn't necessarily like the main female character yet because there was a lot that they were still trying to figure out about Piggy and what Miss Piggy was and who Miss Piggy was. We can talk for hours. It has been. You can check out Danny Horn's the Miss Piggy podcast where he talks about all of this. But Piggy doesn't even have a consistent performer in season one. And then it seems like once Piggy gets a consistent performer and once Piggy becomes the main female Muppet, it's kind of like, well, I guess we don't need any other female Muppets anymore. We have one. So it is this interesting thing where like maybe Hilda was the one female Muppet pre Miss Piggy becoming the star. And I absolutely get why Miss Piggy deserves to be the main character more than Hilda. That's not my question. I'm not like, imagine a world where Michael Frith drew a gorgeous Hilda calendar. Um,
And somebody designed a gorgeous Hilda wedding dress.
yeah, no,
That's
that's
I
not,
want that though.
yeah, I mean, I don't not want it, but it does just feel like it's very much, it does just feel like it's very much we only need one girl, and that
Yeah.
girl was Hilda in season one, and then once Aaron Oscar left and they were like, well, we're gonna do more Miss Piggy stuff in season two, then we don't need another girl anymore.
Right. We just need somebody to do all the female background players, and that's our only use for a female performer, which is a different kind of frustrating because Louise Gold is wonderful, as you said.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and I'll be honest, I don't really love Annie Sue, but that's partly because we don't know much about Annie Sue beyond just that Miss Piggy hates her.
And there's Janice, but Janice is also auxiliary in that she's one of the mayhem and they're kind of a package deal
Oh
almost.
yeah, no, Janice especially, I guess outside of Veterinarian's Hospital, but Janice is absolutely just part of a unit in the Muppet Show days. We see a little bit more. I mean, obviously Mayhem did a lot to flesh out Janice on her own, but
And
But I did
also
like her. I liked her as she was performed by Aaron Oscar also.
oh,
I
that's true
I like
too.
that Janice,
that's
and
what I
I
was
I
going to
miss that
say.
as well.
It's worth pointing out that Janice was originally an Aaron Oscar character.
Yeah, and I really liked that performance. I
Well,
love that. I love who Janice became, but I miss season one Janice too,
For sure.
for the sake of
for sure.
actuallying, Janice was originally a Fran Brill character. Thank you
Oh,
very
pardon me.
much.
Oh, okay.
Sex and Violence.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, but in season one, I
Yes.
didn't make
Yeah.
up that there was Aaron Oscar.
No, 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 no,
Yes,
no, 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 no.
great. I've only been actually a little bit. Great.
But yeah, so I don't know. I mean, again, I just wish, I think certainly in 2025, we've talked a ton about how the Muppets could use some more female characters, and I absolutely think they could bring Hilda back.
They have the puppet.
Yeah, I mean,
We
all
know where she lives.
I was gonna say, Matt Vogel just has to break into the Museum of the Moving Image, sneak in the night, and smash the glass and steal Hilda.
Oh my gosh. After, watching the presentations and all the photos of all the restoration hours that they spent on every single Muppet baby, I I don't think anybody should be smashing that glass, but I
Yeah,
hear
no,
you.
I don't actually. I mean, and I should say, I said Matt Vogel because I thought that would be funniest, but they should definitely get a female puppeteer to play Hilda if they bring her back.
Oh, for sure. How would you fan cast Hilda now?
I mean, I'm gonna be real with you, and obviously she is one of my favorite puppeteers and also one of my favorite people. But I think Stephanie D'Abruzzo could absolutely rock a Hilda.
I
Oh
thought you
yeah,
were going to
she'd
go
crush it.
Stephanie. Yeah.
Stephanie is so funny and thinks so much about what a character needs. And I think she would do a great job with Hilda.
Yeah, I probably would go Stephanie also, although I was thinking about Leslie Carrera Rudolph would be really funny doing something. She does Abby Cadabby, and that's very sweet and very specific. But what if she did an old character? I think she'd be great at it.
I mean, that's kind of Penny Waxman is Leslie doing an old
Mm,
character, but that
I
doesn't mean
forgot
that.
about Penny
No,
Waxman. I'm
but I was
sorry.
gonna say, but Hilda would be very different.
Yeah.
Christy, do you have a fan cast?
Honestly, I'm still hung up on how great Stephanie D'Abruzzo would be. That I can't do better than that, really.
Yeah. Jennifer Barnhart would be fun. I feel like she would do an old broad voice and it would be funny. And it would be really different, but specific in a different way.
I mean, the answer is there's so many directions they could take Hilda. Because, again, like Muppets change sometimes. And, Gonzo and Fozzie changed so much from season one to the modern era that maybe modern Hilda would look and act completely different. Who knows?
Yeah.
I just know that I love Hilda, just like Kermit loves Hilda. I'm so glad we all got to talk about her. Any other
Yeah.
closing thoughts?
It was really interesting to go back and revisit season one episodes as we are now about to finish out the series. Because as you said, Muppets evolve, and it was really interesting to see just how the cadence of the show had changed overall, but also even Kermit felt like a different Kermit, and Fozzie and Gonzo for sure. They were in some instances just very slightly different characters, and in some instances wildly different characters and different puppets. And of course Miss Piggy was very different as well. But like, what if Hilda had gotten the chance to grow and evolve? What if they had recast her in season two, and if she'd gotten to stick around?
What if in the 90s they released trading cards of Hilda on skateboards and
In a chili pepper shirt.
in a chili pepper shirt?
Oh, I want that for her. I want a new look for her. I want a weird 90s haircut for her. She should
She
have
had,
gotten to have all that.
Tough Pigs fan community. We all know that at the end of the week, the Muppet Instagram posts fan art. I need you guys to do fan art of 90s Hilda,
Yes.
what Hilda would look like if she existed in the era of the Muppet trading cards.
Even
And
if she,
you got to post it on Instagram, and I'm going to be waiting to see if the official Muppets account posts 90s Hilda to the fan art showcase.
even if she had gotten to make it into the 80s, I want to see shoulder pad perm Hilda.
That's true. You can draw Muppet Television era Hilda as well. What would she look like on the experimental Jim Henson Hour?
What would she have looked like if they had included her in Muppet Babies?
You know, I actually think that Muppet Wiki admin Tony Whitaker has already drawn that, but we'll see. That doesn't mean you can't. I need everybody to get their best creative juices going for Hilda. What kind
In
of
every
fun?
era.
Yeah, Hilda in every era. And again, let's make it happen. Let's make it happen.
and even young Hilda.
Young Hilda,
Give us
sure.
some like
Yes.
Hilda in the 40s and 50s, rocking her
Rocking a
best
poodle skirt.
fashion. Yeah.
Oh man. Please give us young Hilda.
Listen, a costume lady deserves all the costumes.
Yes.
Yes.
So Michal, Christie, is there anything that you'd like to plug as we start wrapping up here?
Yeah. So we are still releasing new episodes of Muppeturgy as covering the Muppet Show. Just because we are about to finish covering the Muppet Show does not mean that Muppeturgy is going to end. We have some plans. We even know some of what those plans are, but some of those plans we're still figuring out. We even know what some of those plans are. Some of it we're still figuring out, but we are definitely going to keep releasing episodes. There might be a bit of a break in between, finishing the entire Muppet Show and starting something new. And Adam making us watch Little House on the Prairie or Murder, She Wrote or whatever, or Muppets
That's
Tonight or
incredible.
whatever might happen. Yeah, we have so many TV specials with so many 70s stars that we really just need to get back to because we've discussed how bizarre they all sound, and some actual Muppet content. So keep us in your feed and stay tuned. We'll be there to finish the Muppet Show, and then we'll come back to you.
Of course, you can also find Muppeturgy on all social media, or maybe not all social media, but
Much of the social media.
many social
Yeah.
medias. Thank you guys both for being here so much. Thank you guys for giving Hilda the love that she deserves. And
Thank you so much, Becca.
Yeah,
oh,
our pleasure.
you're welcome. And let's get that fan art. Let's get that fan art going, everybody. Everybody, let's make Hilda Week the biggest fan art week that the Muppet Instagram has ever seen. Get her on a skateboard.
Yes, please. Or a penny farthing.
Ooh, that's good too.
70 Years, 70 Muppets is a Muppet Fan podcast presented by toughpigs.com. Hosted by a whole myriad of people and edited by them as well. Produced by Jared Fairclough. The Muppet 70 logo used with permission by the Muppet Studio with thanks to Danny Iglesias, Frank Reich Snyder and Lee Slaughter. Don't forget to follow toughpigs.com on all social media platforms. You can support us by heading to patreon.com/toughpigs or buying a t-shirt at tpublic.com/toughpigs.